Well, hello there, and welcome to A Film a Day, award season 2023, with me, Jordan Woodley. The Banshees of Inisherin, there was a period in which I genuinely believed, wholeheartedly, for a long stretch, that not only should it win Best Picture, but it absolutely would win Best Picture BAFTA, Best Picture Oscar, and that it would be the film that would undercut everything and just steal the show. Because there is something about the Banshees of Inisherin that feels so subtle and underplayed, and yet I was astounded watching it. I really was. Because going in, it is a very simple story. It is a very simple piece. The premise is clear. It is just about two friends falling out. And it's almost on the cusp of just being almost like a throwback 50s comedy. And yet there is something about the cinematography. There is something about the direction. There's something about the way the performances go from light to dark that is so careful that it never goes too far into being comedy. It never goes too far into taking the story into such a serious place that you don't remember why it was comedic in the first place. It is exceptionally well balanced, and that is on every level. If we're talking about Best Picture and what makes a Best Picture film, it is the idea that every component might not be the greatest component of the film of that year, but every component is at such a high standard together, and they work so seamlessly together that it's a rising tide lifts all ships, and everything about it just feels perfect. And it's not a perfect film. No such thing as a perfect film exists. And yet it sticks with you. I do think in terms of performances, it is still really strongly going to strike hard, because I do think that Brendan Gleeson, that Colin Farrell, that Barry Keoghan, that Kerry Condon are all high contenders for their categories. Like I really strongly believe that if we're looking at a character piece, this is one of the strongest character pieces of the year. And I think in terms of performances, that they are individually all in a good shot to win. Obviously with two of them within the Best Supporting Actor category. And of course this is for both BAFTAs and Oscars. I think partly the reason I discuss Oscars and not just BAFTAs and bring that British slant to the conversation, other than just looking at the Academy and the fact that impacts sort of global cinema, is that BAFTAs do lead towards more British-centric storytelling, more British-centric creation. And it would be very easy to say, well, the Banshees will win the BAFTAs and will sweep at the BAFTAs, and they might do respectably at the Oscars, but not so great. But I do think there's something about this film that transcends that it's trying to say a lot with a little, and I think it's the kind of film that will stand the test of time. There's another film that I will talk about later in the series that has this quietness to it, and yet it's trying to say a lot with nothing and leave everything to subtext. And the fact that we're seeing these kind of films really come into the forefront and get the accolades that they are. If Banshees doesn't win anything, I would be disappointed. But knowing that it's been nominated across the board, across both awards programs, that pleases me, because it means we're getting that discernment of quality, that discernment of style. And I think it's really important that we continue to see that. The more the time has passed, I don't think Banshees will win Best Picture. There's a lot of high contenders, and I think there's just a direction I see it going, but I would be delighted to be surprised. BAFTA? Very likely. I still think it's a strong contender, but it's all to play for. Anyway, thank you for joining me. I'll see you next time.